warm welcome to A Nurse's Lift to Work with Tina and Kate, coaching podcast by two healthcare professionals. We are friends, we are nurses, master NLP coaches, hypnotherapists, parents and business owners. We are busy people juggling many things just like you.
You are in for a treat. We will chat about informal coaching tips, coping strategies, and how to effectively change your mindset and have some fun along the way. So, hop on board with us for A Nurse's Lift to Work.
Hello everyone, I'm Kate.
And I'm Tina.
And this is A Nurse's Lift to Work. What are we doing today, Tina? You like how I did that? Like
It's
that was
lovely.
like
It was so
a
musical.
song.
It's lovely. I like that. What we're doing today is we are talking about supporting students when you yourself are newly qualified or in the early part of your own career.
Now this comes up quite a lot in the Preceptorship for Nurses Facebook group. Comments such as, oh my God, I've got to have a student. What am I supposed to do?
Isn't it?
Comes up quite a lot.
Yeah, it does. And that mindset is fascinating because what is fueling that concern, question mark, is probably a little bit of, I only feel like freshly minted myself, so how am I supposed to guide anyone else through something? A little bit of a confidence thing, like, oh, you know, am I good enough, in inverted brackets, to be having a student? Maybe a little bit of nervousness. What am I supposed to do with a student as a newly qualified nurse? So I like this little thought process of, if you're driving a car, you've got the road ahead, which if this is your career, then the road ahead is the road ahead and loads of good things are going to happen on the road. But in your rear view mirror, you've got like 3 years of career already on the road behind you. You know, you are newly qualified, but you have got 3 years of being a nurse of sorts. It's a student nurse, but it's still a nurse. So you've got lots to give another student nurse who's further down the road in a car behind you. They haven't done as much journeying as you.
Yeah. And I guess who is better placed to have a student? Somebody who's got recent knowledge of it and absolutely 100% understands the paperwork, the hoops that you've got to go through, the nerves, all of that kind of stuff. Somebody who's just been there, or somebody who's 15, 20 years down the line and has forgotten to a certain degree that freshness about it all.
Yeah. And what it feels like to feel a little bit out of kilter because you're in a new environment or you don't feel on firm footing. So I think newly qualified nurses are excellent people to be having a student. But if you want some more formal guidance than us just saying you'll be great at it, then there are sort of 4 areas you can think about. So we will dive in a bit to the detail, but just to give you what those areas are, you know, there's the area of mentorship and guidance. So we're going to talk a bit about that. Creating a supportive environment, focusing on individual needs and empowering the independence of the student. So, Kate, starting with mentorship and guidance, you know, what should a newly qualified nurse be thinking about? What would be helpful?
It's that, I guess for me, it's that sharing of experience, that whole, I know what it's like. I remember what it's like. This is what I did in that situation. To kind of, I don't know, again, it's creating a rapport and an understanding with your students. So your students going, oh God, they understand, they get it. Because that's it, isn't it? They get it. They get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and being able to think, what was my best mentor? You know, what was that person like? Someone who appeared during your own training journey that you thought, oh, they did it so well, you know, the way that they allowed me to check in regularly and have debriefs and ask questions and then go and do something and come back and sort of check in how that had gone. Just, you know, having an assigned mentor in itself can be brilliant.
Yeah. And it's when you it's with that, I know it sounds a bit silly, but with that guidance, you as a newly qualified nurse, you might be nervous about doing something with a student because, you know, what if you do it wrong? La 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 la. But actually, by going through things on a step-by-step level, it helps to reinforce your knowledge. So when it's sort of, and this comes up a lot as well, you're like, oh my God, I had a student today. It was amazing because I realized I knew more than I thought I did.
Absolutely. Because when you're with a student, you've got to almost decant your head a little bit. So, you know, you might be about to do something. So you might be saying, oh, we're about to do this. And what I'm thinking as I'm about to do this is blah, da, di, da, di, da. And
Yeah.
you go and do it and you say, observe if you like, and, you know, just see what you think is happening in this interaction or in this assessment or whatever you're doing. And then afterwards you can talk a bit more about it. Say, yes, you know, I had the intentions when I went in the room, but that didn't quite work out. So this is how I flexed as a practitioner. This is what happened. What did you observe, student? And what did you see me doing? And that's so powerful because I think a lot of practice is in our own heads. We're not verbalizing all the time our practice and our rationales, are we? And so for a student, they just want to get inside your head. So
Yeah.
it's a really nice thing to do. And I agree with you, Kate. I think there's something so rewarding about seeing a student like feeling heard and seen and learning in your presence. It's a lovely gift.
Yeah. And actually, I often wonder whether the student actually cares whether you're new or not, because actually you're in your nursing uniform. You are a nurse and they are the student. And it's almost that hierarchy, isn't it? It doesn't matter how long you could have had it like 4 days, 4 years, 30 years. You're still in that nursing uniform.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, historically, I mean, nursing has changed as it quite rightly needs to over the years. But there was a time, you know, that third years were in charge of places. You know, as a third year student, I had a ward that was a day surgery ward, and some of the patients ended up staying overnight because they needed a little bit more. And the students ran that ward, the third year students ran that ward. And you used to be really nervous, and all the third years used to go, oh, gosh, I've got to go and do this as part of my experience. But actually, it was quite nice to see the second and first years seeking your advice. And it made you realise, even at that point in your career, you're not newly qualified, that you did know a bit more than you thought you did, because you've learned a lot in the first couple of years.
And that student coaching in practice is quite a big thing still.
Yeah.
So, you know, as the inverted commas senior of the students, there is an expectation that you will teach the others, those that are in years below you or cohorts below you.
Yeah.
And share that knowledge.
It gives you practice of that, doesn't it? That idea that you are going to impart knowledge to others, that you're going to create this supportive environment, and you can really help, as well as the formal bits of nursing we will have to learn, like the technical stuff and what have you. You can also help them understand the importance of mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, it's all right to make mistakes and how we can learn from that, and also encourage their active participation. You know, I'll do this and you do that bit, you know, because so many poor students, you see them hanging back because they're not quite sure how much they're allowed to do, what they should do, what they shouldn't do. But unless you're going to be allowed to do a bit of it yourself, you're not going to learn.
Yeah, and that beautifully fits in with facilitating for the active learning. So it does become more inclusive. And, you know, as a newly qualified nurse, think about the things that you wish people had told you, things that you wish that you'd known, you know, positive and negative to a certain degree, and how you can switch that negative to a positive.
Actually, it's a great discussion to have in a team around what you want to give to students. There's always all the formal assessment processes that come from the universities. That's always sitting there in the background. But if you as a team on a particular ward or in a particular community team just had a moment to sit down together and say, what do we think it was most useful to know as a student? What can we give to them as a team? What should we chat to them about? And some of it will be practical, pragmatic things like how to use systems and processes. But some of it might just be, make sure you take a break.
Yeah.
And hydrate and go to the toilet. I wish somebody had said that to me.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be that you as a team decide is going to be really useful. So that's quite nice that you can all have that discussion together.
And if you're not, you know, if you're not sure, if they ask you a question, and I guarantee this will have happened to you as a student at some point, you'll have asked a question that the nurse didn't know, and they go, "What do you think? What do you think the answer will be?" Because you're still encouraging that self-learning from the student, because there can be a tendency sometimes to almost get lazy and just ask questions because you can't be bothered to find out the answer. This is not for everybody. It's generic. How do I do this? What do I do with that? What about this? Well, what do you think? It's easier to ask the question, isn't it? It's easier to ask somebody than think of the answer yourself. So if you do find that somebody is asking you lots and lots of questions that actually they could easily find the answer to, turn the table, say, tell me what you think. What would you do in this situation? What's your rationale? Why? Promotes that critical thinking.
Yeah. Which is a huge part of being a registered nurse, is the ability to be a critical thinker, because the answer isn't always like obvious.
No.
And often you can ask a whole group of people how to do something and there'll be 4 different opinions in the room. So, and also I liked what you said about, you know, what do you think? But also it's okay to be vulnerable and to demonstrate to them that you can go, oh, do you know what? I just don't know. Because I haven't done that myself for a couple of years. So we could have a look into that together and see what we ought to be doing about that. So that's a good thing to do together, and to show that actually you're open to learning, you have a growth mindset. And this is a great kind of way to be as a registered nurse. So that's really great. And I suppose the other bit is please celebrate success with them. So, you know, we can walk away from so many situations and we have had no positive feedback and we don't know if we're doing all right. And therefore we focus on all the things that have got a bit pear-shaped today. So celebrate together and celebrate for your student and feedback to them. You know, this has gone so well today. And I think you've been a big part of that. You know, the way you sat next to her, held her hand, reached for her when she was obviously in discomfort as I was talking to her. That gave her such support. I could see her visibly, verbally, non-verbally relax. Did you notice that? That was you. You created that reaction.
Yeah. It helps to develop that reflective process, doesn't it? That is so very useful. It does get rammed down our throats, reflection, 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 to the point where it ceases to be something that's enjoyable and a learning tool to something that you just have to do. So it does kind of change it a little bit. So you think about the difference it makes as opposed to something that's just got to be done.
And I guess overall, what I'd like to say to our listeners is please see it as a pleasure, not a pain. So some people are allocated students and they're like, oh, as if I haven't already got enough to do. It doesn't have to be an extra burden to have a student alongside you. There's an extra pair of ears and eyes and brain there for you. So you're assessing in tandem, you're doing things in tandem. How great is that? Yes, you might have to do a bit more explaining, but as you said, Kate, that can lead you to a place of thinking, oh, crap, yeah, I'm thinking about this differently. So, try and have the mindset that this is a really positive thing for you to be doing.
And it looks great when it comes to PDRs and that kind of stuff. And for a confidence boost, it's amazing because we do get, I taught somebody something today. It was brilliant. How amazing does that feel?
There's nothing nicer than feeling assured of your own skill by teaching someone else.
And on that note, 'tis time for us to depart. Tina, after you, my love.
Thank you for listening to A Nurse's Lift to Work. I've been Tina.
And I'm Kate.
You've been listening to A Nurse's Lift to Work with Kate and Tina. Please remember, this is not a replacement for medical treatment or help, so do seek assistance if you need to.
Thank you for joining us. Please do like, subscribe, give us stars, like and share with your friends and colleagues. All the good things.